Have you ever felt this way? Someone smiles at you gently, but something feels off. Someone seems confident in a meeting, yet you can hear the nervousness in their voice. A friend keeps saying, I'm really fine, but somehow you know they're barely holding it together. The strange part, you don't really have proof, you just sense it. And maybe it's not always just overthinking. Sometimes your gut has already picked up on certain signals. You just haven't learned how to read them yet. Hello everyone, I'm Manya. Welcome to Life Wisdom. Today, let's talk about 11 hidden truths about human nature beneath what people say. This isn't a tool for diagnosing people. It's simply a way to become more observant, compassionate, and self aware. A person's expression, tone, or behavior can give us clues, but they are never the whole story. Real understanding comes from listening, asking, and checking in. Ready? Let's begin. 1. Everyone wears masks, but masks don't always mean they're being fake. When someone says, I'm fine, we nod. They say, I don't care, and we believe them. They say, I've moved on, and we stop asking. That always smiling person at work? Maybe they have a temper but are scared of rejection. That boss who dominates every meeting? Maybe they're up at night worrying. The tricky part, people often don't even realize they are wearing masks. They may not be trying to fool you. Sometimes they are simply avoiding something within themselves. Those smiles, words, tones, and postures, they're survival tactics built from countless moments of self protection. It's not about being fake, it's about fear. Fear of rejection. Fear that if they show their real self, they'd lose love. It's instinct, self defense. In social life, we often create a version of ourselves that feels acceptable. Masks become shields and tickets to belong. 2. What you hate most might reveal what you're suppressing. People rarely hate for no reason. Hate is often a reaction to being poked where it hurts, something in others touches on what they refuse to face in themselves. Someone who mocks others for being too arrogant might secretly feel their own worth is shaky. Someone who calls others lazy might be terrified of slowing down themselves. Someone who criticizes others as selfish might have been taught to ignore their own needs and bury them deep. Of course, not all dislike is projection. Sometimes people genuinely hurt others or go against our values, and calling that out is necessary. But if someone constantly criticizes the same thing, that's a clue. Don't just look at what they criticize, ask why it triggers them so much. What are they avoiding? What part haven't they made peace with? 3. Moral superiority isn't always kindness, it can be power in disguise. If you meet someone who always uses rightness to shut others down, always correcting, blaming, or claiming superiority, watch out. That's not necessarily justice or goodness. It might be control wrapped in a moral cloak. Standing on the moral high ground can give people a psychological boost. True kindness doesn't need applause. Real compassion isn't quick to judge. The more someone denies their dark side, the more they build a flawless image. Because they fear if they show their real self, respect and acceptance will vanish. 4. Sometimes, before lying to others, People have already convinced themselves. I'm fine. I've let it go. I don't care at all. Often, these aren't mean lies but repeated self talk until they start to believe it. Self deception is a defense mechanism, convincing ourselves to keep going in a harsh world. Sometimes people aren't blind to the truth, they just aren't ready to face it yet. 5. Overconfidence and arrogance often hide insecurity and fear. If someone constantly brags about achievements, they might fear they're not good enough. If they crave admiration, their inner self worth might be shaky. If they put others down, it might be a way to feel better temporarily. Putting others down is an easy way to boost yourself when true confidence feels out of reach. It creates a fake sense of control. I'm better than you. Similarly, overconfidence can be a mask for vulnerability. Those who always act certain and strong often fear being seen as unsure or weak. The more they try to prove they know everything, the more they're scared of being exposed. Real confidence isn't about always being right, it's about admitting vulnerability and limits. A truly stable person can say, I don't know, I'm not sure, or I'm scared, because maturity means embracing imperfection. True confidence doesn't boast or tear others down. It allows you to appreciate others without feeling threatened. 6. Many rational views are fueled by fear. Some people over explain because they fear being misunderstood. Some dominate conversations because they fear being ignored. Some always say yes because they fear rejection. Some disappear first because they fear abandonment. When someone says love is just an illusion, it's often self protection. They're not denying love, they're afraid to believe in it again. Once burned, they build walls. Many logical beliefs hide unhealed wounds. Pain makes us cling to certain ideas just to survive. By now, you might see these aren't just about others, they reflect ourselves too. Let's keep going. 7. The need for control often hides inner chaos. Wanting to control your life is normal, but some people's control is almost obsessive, planning every detail, double checking, judging others' choices, fearing change. Those who must control everything usually aren't calm inside. They can't stand external chaos because their inner world is shaky. So they build walls of order and rules to fight inner disorder. Picture a Thanksgiving dinner where the dad must decide when everyone arrives, where they sit, what they eat, and what topics are off limits. One change, and he's anxious or angry. On the surface, he's keeping order. Deep down, he's fighting fear. If things get out of control, I'll fall apart. 8. People who constantly chase attention may not simply be afraid of being alone. Sometimes they fear being forgotten. On social media, every photo is staged, every video edited perfectly, every persona polished. It's like everyone's shouting, look at me. You've seen people who act like life's a stage, always loud, with endless stories, needing to be the center of attention. It may look like confidence and charm, but often it's not strength but fear of disappearing. When life becomes a show, it's not about believing in yourself, it's about doubting you're lovable as you are. So you push harder, more posts, more updates, more stories, more applause. Fear of being overlooked or forgotten often ties back to long term neglect or comparison. Sometimes this performance is a silent cry. Please notice me. Truly strong people don't rely on others to see them because they've learned to see themselves. 9. How you treat vulnerability reveals your true strength. To really know someone's character, don't just watch how they treat the strong, watch how they treat people who are vulnerable or have less power. Real power isn't about crushing others or scaring them. It's when you have the ability to hurt or punish but choose restraint, understanding, and kindness. People who mock others' vulnerability may be struggling to accept their own. Those who harshly punish mistakes might never have been allowed to make any themselves. Someone who always wins but leaves a trail of pain might actually be fighting their own inner battles. Truly strong people see others' vulnerability without rushing to judge, embrace sadness without running away, and forgive when they could retaliate. They've already won the hardest fight, the one inside. 10. Envy and jealousy often point to repressed desires. Envy often stings with helplessness. I want to be like that, but I don't think I can. Jealousy isn't just spite, it's an unspoken, unacknowledged longing. Deep down, a voice whispers, I want that too. I want that life. I just don't believe I deserve it. So, when others envy or mock you, it's not always hate. Often, they see in you what they can't or won't go after themselves, their own lost dreams. And when you feel jealousy inside, don't rush to shame yourself. It doesn't mean you're petty. It might be a sign you have unmet wishes that need attention. It's not about attacking others, but understanding what you truly want. 11. A person's behavior patterns are their most honest clues. People might not say their pain out loud, but their actions tell the story again and again. When someone pulls away as things get closer, it might not be you. It might mean, I'm scared if you really see me, you leave. When someone works nonstop, feels every minute, it might not be just ambition. It might say, I can't stand the quiet with myself. When someone flirts but never commits, it might not be about playing. It might say, I want love but fear getting hurt. These patterns aren't random. They're subconscious language, the most honest confessions inside. They say, this is how I protect myself. This is where I'm hurt. It's not that I don't want closeness. I just don't know how to feel safe with it. When you learn to read patterns, not just words, you can see someone's past wounds, defenses, and how they try to keep safe before they even speak. So, back to the first question. Why can you sometimes just feel what someone isn't saying? Because people don't express themselves only with words. They speak through silence, attacks, control, showing off, avoidance, and repeated behaviors. You're not reading minds. You're reading signals, patterns, and the defenses behind the masks. When you understand why you react certain ways, why you repeat relationship cycles, why you dislike some people or envy others, you stop being pushed around by your subconscious. You start waking up. Understanding human nature isn't about becoming harsh. Understanding shadows isn't about becoming dark yourself. True maturity is seeing complexity and still choosing kindness, seeing vulnerability and still choosing respect, seeing masks and still admitting we're all just trying to survive. Before we finish, here's a little exercise for you. After this, find a quiet moment and write down two questions. 1. What do I criticize most in others? Could that be something I haven't accepted in myself? 2. What do I envy most in others? Could that be the self I long to live as? Don't rush to analyze others. Be honest with yourself first, because who you see in others often reflects parts of yourself. So, from today on, don't just listen to what people say, pay attention to what they don't say. Don't just notice other people's masks. Gently notice the masks you've worn too. Thanks for listening. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Which hidden truth hit you the most? Wishing you the strength to see clearly and the courage to come closer to your true self. I'm Manya. See you next time.